talks, nobody talks, nobody talks shidduchim.
This is the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast.
And yes, this is Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast, episode 40. I'm here with Avery. Avery, say hi.
What is up?
We just brought him back from Florida. He was tanning on the beach. He got very crisp.
That's a fact.
I couldn't even recognize him. He was so crisp. And we brought him back in a box. Here he is for the episode. Avery was so happy to have you here. And this is episode 40, setting up
40.
friends.
Wow.
40 episodes in. So we're setting up friends this episode. We're going to actually have a nice monologue between Avery and I, and then we plan Mitzshem, Bezrat Hashem. We never know when to take place. But to have callers. We're going to have callers call
Jewish
in.
people,
real live callers. Okay, we never know who we're going to get because we just blast it out. And then we're going to have a cute little lightning round where Avery just, it's a tell-all. It's a town hall for Avery.
Yep.
And it's going to be a fun episode. You know, does it hurt? Does it hurt the friendship? Can you be honest with your friends? What if your friend is not a good person? What if that the person you want to set them up with?
Are you obligated to set up your friend? Things like that. These are
so it's gonna be a fun episode. Stay tuned. Listen to this ad, and we'll be chatting momentarily.
The all-new Mockers magazine, the Jewish men's premium lifestyle magazine. At Mockers Mag, let's embrace our inner mocker. It's all about the experiences we can share over a L'chaim and Kiddush Club after a long week of work or time with the family. Now, what's in the mag? Kiddush Club, fine wines, suits and style, Mocker of the Month, Scotch and bourbon, kosher craft beer, man eats, colognes, cars, fitness and wellness, man caves, fine watches, and much more. Use promo code NTS15 in all caps for 50% off. The magazine will be out soon. Subscribe today. Stay posted for all updates on mockers.com and right here on the Mockers Insta experience at Mockers Mag. Cheers.
First thoughts on setting up friends before we even get to the topic list.
Yeah. First thought is you're going to learn a lot about your friends. Before we get to the topic list, you're going to learn a lot about them. You're going to learn what they really like. Are they really in it? And I'm only talking from a guy's perspective. I don't know what it's like to set up a girlfriend. You're going to learn about if the guy is just totally picky about looks. He's totally picky about hashkafa. Because as a friend, you don't really know. All you hear is the secondhand talk from shotgun to guy, where the guy is saying, yeah, the shotgun sent me this girl from this and this neighborhood and really wasn't my look. But you don't see it firsthand. You only see the hear that secondhand talk. Unless they show it to you, which is another story, which is always fun to see your friends.
I love secondhand talk. Secondhand talk is the best.
Mm-hmm.
It's you could create your own story.
Remember when Shrumi sent you that girl and it was just the whole to do?
Oh yes. Or Sprinza, Nechi and Yachi.
Mm-hmm.
That's short for Yechiel.
Yeah.
And Sprinza.
So what was I saying?
And Sarah.
And Sarah, true. What was I saying?
Oh,
I was
Christina. That's a good
But at the same time, like you learn a lot about your friend, like what they can, and you're in that position where you're trying to force a girl, and you're really going to learn a lot about them, the good, the bad, the ugly, what they're really particular about, what they're not, and sometimes it could create a chasm, which we'll get into between you and your friend and the girl, and maybe you see things differently than he did within the situation. Like I have one friend who was set up. They went on 7 dates, and he set up another friend of mine, and he was so upset that the guy said no after 6-7 dates because all he was hearing was positive feedback from the girl. Positive, everything's going great, everything's going amazing.
Yeah.
And the guy just all of a sudden got cold feet for whatever reason and was just, very nasty, very, mean to the girl on the 7th date because he internally felt that he's scared to go ahead.
That's the backlash, or CNN says the white lash. That's the backlash you're going to get when you're setting up friends and you're not being as truthful with them because, you're going to want to please them a little bit. You want to keep the kesher. You want to keep the relationship very formal and sacred, and you don't want to hurt the person.
Right.
And it could really come off very, very abrasive, very brash when, you have to tell your friend, yeah, that thing you did, it just
Mhm.
it just should have. Well, what do you know, huh? You got married to the first tree you saw. You're gonna find out what your friends really
Mhm.
like.
It's so funny though. You know what? In my experience, being set up by friends, they were so off. Like their suggestions were the most off. I think we have somebody in mind who has tried setting both of us up before, one of our friends, and his suggestions were just like beyond. He's married.
Yeah.
He has a few kids. His suggestions were always like, have you seen?
Hey, have you heard of
have you
so-and-so?
spoken to us? And
you ever heard of so and so? Yeah. Been mentioned around. Not really for me. Oh wow, you're both out of the box.
right. So certain friends, if I know them, I wouldn't even accept the suggestion from them because I know who it's coming from. You have to understand the source too.
Yeah.
Like which friend? If it's your friend who's like, a party animal and you're not a party animal and he's just, hanging out with chicks all day and some chick he met on Tinder, yeah, don't accept that.
No.
Why would you accept that resume? There's no reason to.
If
Don't even accept the offer.
If it's going to be Shark Tank with the father-in-laws, the 5'2" guys would say that might make sense to give it a shot.
Yeah, but our friends don't know that, those type of people.
I know,
And they don't know that I mean, maybe you're looking for that, but they don't think like that. So friends are so off sometimes, so off.
Yes, and you hear those mantras.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it'd be a good idea. I mean, you guys probably have so much in common. Just go for a coffee.
Yeah,
Well, these
and you feel
slogans, they
guilty. You
repeat
feel guilty
frequently.
because it's a buddy.
Yeah.
So you
yeah.
can't say no.
So I would advise anyone who's listening, who wants to set up a friend or has set up a friend, not successful before, you throw it out there. You say no pressure.
Exactly.
Don't even follow up. Don't make promises. A lot of guys are like, yeah, I just got this girl. She's waiting for a response. She's pushing off like 8 shot on him, and then six other guys for you. What's the deal? And then you're like, not for me.
You see, the worst thing you could say though is that I went out with her and I think it's for you. Because then you're just thinking in the back of your mind, like, why did he say no?
Yeah. Well,
Or why did they say no?
That's the target right there. Because you're gonna think, well, if she's so good enough, why didn't you go out with her?
Exactly.
Might I ask? And you know what? That's the response I always get when I'm sending up my friends.
Mm-hmm. And she could look like drop dead gorgeous. She could be,
Yeah.
top notch
Top
student,
of the notch,
everything.
former first daughter,
great family,
or granddaughter
Yeah.
in the situation.
like Ivanka Trump 2.0. She could be that, and you're just like looking great family. But and you're looking at it like, how can you
Father's
say
in
no?
real estate, mother's
Like,
in fashion Instagram.
What's the deal? What was the no about?
Yeah, what's
You know?
let me ask you, what happened? What's the problem? Oh well, nothing. She
Just wasn't for
going,
me.
She's just going through the journey,
Right.
But she's 23. You send it to her. It just doesn't make any sense. Okay. No, you're right. Stop it. Why did I think it would make any sense? You know what? Go be single. It's gosh, dealing with these people.
Yeah, it's hard. Have you been set up by anyone, by any friends ever?
No,
Successfully
never.
or not?
No, never. No.
Oh, come on.
Have I been set up?
Yeah, you
Well,
have.
technically, you might have set me up on this podcast that one time or 2 times actually.
True. That's true. We had
I think you were the shot.
two podcast
You get
shotguns. I do get some credit for that.
literally two. Literally
Like, two, yeah.
They just keep the resumes coming, ladies, on Instagram.
Yeah. If they're still around, DM us.
I think has a friendship actually been broken because they tried setting you up? Or I guess like in other words, also, how do you set it up without hurting the relationship? So I'd say the second point is the second point, which is the former of what I just said. Friendships can go a little sour, like we were just saying, with all these lines and all these things. You have to remember that first and foremost, that your allegiance and your care and focus should be on the friend, not the other person that you might have bumped into at a simcha and promised her a good shidduch, and she's just like, wow, these are gonna be the shadchanim, these are the shluchim. I know, but Avery, has you think friendships, get
It hasn't happened for me.
broken, get hurt, get affected by that?
My personality, it wouldn't happen because I don't really care about these things. It hasn't happened for me. I had a situation with a friend who set me up with a girl over a certain time, and she was just very clearly not for me. It just wasn't for me. It was very clearly obvious, and she, I don't think I was for her either. So I should have had red flags up in my head that he doesn't really understand what I'm looking for. Then he set me up with this other girl who was looking for a Karen, and I'm not a Karen. I'm not a mask guy.
You're not a Ken.
A mask guy. People look at me and they yell at me for not wearing a mask if I walk somewhere.
Wow,
I don't do.
We're getting to know Avery.
I don't do that.
Yeah, wow,
I don't do that unless a certain someone tells me that I have to. Then I do it. But aside from that,
she knows who she is.
Exactly. Aside from that, I won't wear a mask. Like, what's the point? So this girl did, and my friend should have known that, and it became like a whole thing. I said, like, I don't want to go out because of this, that. And it just shows that if you have an inclination about which friend just doesn't understand you when they're being set up, don't take it personally.
Yeah.
Just take it like, you know what? You can't set me up anymore. Like, we'll have a good relationship, but just don't try to set me up anymore.
As former U.S. President Calvin Coolidge used to say, the business of America is business. The business of shidduchim is business, not people, not making, shidduchim. Right. And you got to handle it like a business in many ways. And that's it. You put the business face on with your friends and get used to it. There's nothing wrong with it.
No.
They might have done that to you. They might, you get an inkling, I think this guy's going to be a little off.
I have another story. I have a current shidduch prospect working out, and this is our good friend JP.
Oh,
and
our attorney,
our lawyer, podcast lawyer,
the podcast lawyer,
podcast lawyer, and
he's a general counselor and senior vice president for legal matters.
There we go. A year ago, I set him up with someone, and he didn't want to go back out. And we went on a trip somewhere. He was by my house. We were hanging out like a year later, and he's like, you know what? I really want to, and I didn't take it personally. He said, no, this, that. I'm like, I really thought it was good. I thought it was a good idea. Everything sounded great. The girl had a good time. And whatever reason it was, he said no. He said, and I didn't hold it against him. I'm like, okay, fine. He just didn't want to go out again. Like, it is what it is.
That's how you handled it?
That's how I handled it. I'm like, I wasn't personal. I didn't push back. I said, that's his prerogative. If he ever wants to come back, leave the door open. Why not? This year, a year later, he said, you know what? I really want to revisit. I think I made a big mistake not going out with her. And, I reached out to the girl, and she was open to going back out. And he realized, we talked about it. He made a mistake. He had some silly reasons for not wanting to continue the relationship, not wanting to continue to go out. And thank God, fingers crossed, God, if you hear this podcast, it's worked out for, a number of weeks, almost a month that they've been going out. And, God willing, I will be, their child will be named after me. So that's what it's all about.
Where do you come up with this stuff? I hear like they're like, this is, Michael Savage and Larry King over here. Wow, Avery, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So you're almost in Gan Eden, basically.
I'm a third away, and then Laster said I could eat pork. So.
Yes. Whatever Laster
I'm a third of the way there. I said a lot of other things too.
So, Bekitzer, there's a way to go about it without hurting relationships, and you could say, I want you to know, we're close friends, and I know you want to bring up an idea to me. 100, like, I'm just getting, be honest, like, my process is my process, and just respect that. We got to respect that. I might say no, I might say yes. I might ask questions from random reasoning. Just please go with it. And obviously, they shouldn't be. They might be ambiguous in a way. Certain things that are brought up between the two people. You and your friend. But as the person who's setting the setter upper, let's say the setter upper, you have to know that this person's going to do his process. This person's going to do her process, and that's it. If you're meant to be the shliach, good. If you really have some critique, Just say, okay, bite the bullet, and follow up at some point down the road, or just pray for them. And people, you're not going to get people out of their ways.
And tell them you're praying for them. They'll enjoy that.
I'm praying for you. I'm praying for
Girls
the
like to hear
Biden
that.
administration to Mitzvah Hashem.
Hey, the young Israels are praying for the Biden administration.
Yes, we know too well about that. Avery and I are now, davening at the Aguda. We already were technically. Anyway, why aren't people setting their friends up? Why aren't they setting friends up? Why do I have to?
You know why?
Show up at your house, knock on your door, break some windows, and say, "Paso, give me a shidduch."
Because people are self-absorbed. It's all about me. It's all about my likes.
Really?
My
You think so?
Instagram. That's why.
On Instagram. Yeah.
No. Look, if you get a resume, if I were to get a resume, there's no reason that I shouldn't be saying, "Hey, how come maybe this resume is not good for me, but it's good for IJ. It's good for some other friend, some other.
It's good for Rosie. It's good for Rosie.
Good for Rosie. It's good for who knows. I personally myself, I always look out for the other people.
You look out.
I look for the little people.
You look out for me.
Yeah. Not little people, actual little people, but it's hard to set them. I don't know anyone for little people, but the people in the world,
And
hopefully I'll be making one shidduch if it works out.
Well, let me ask you, because this is very apropos here. I actually reached out to you recently.
And
this, maybe we'll take this part out, but no, I thought leave it in.
Yeah.
There was nothing on your end.
Give me what's the
deal?
Give it to me.
Let me tell you something. Okay, I asked you, and I said, just send me the information. And I'm like, she's friends with that, that girl you knew, and I don't want to, your cousin, someone easy to access.
Okay,
and
you
did not even give in. I'll try. I didn't realize Avery became Shadchanit Avery.
Okay, I'll tell you why. It's like working for OHEL and then saying, I want to go out with, I want to go work for Elon Musk. The next thing.
Okay, and where do I sit in that analogy?
Well,
or is that
actually, it's not Elon Musk. It's more like just the powers that be wouldn't allow me to cross that border.
Oh, okay.
So I had my.
So you were the conservative Twitter engineer, and you couldn't bypass Jack Dorsey.
Yeah, no, I had many restrictions. What will be coming to our natural gas and oil and pipelines that's coming to this country. I had so many, so much red tape, so much in that sense, the red tape just kept me away. So
I hear that.
I would have tried. I don't care. I have no feelings.
The Democrat, or the liberals, they put the red tape in. You could cross it. You can jump on it. We can call it a blue tape. You can call it a green
True.
tape.
You're right. Could I have set up an executive order to get you in? Yeah, I could have.
We're very political. Ahuva, holy shit, said she'll come back for a politics episode. We got some good stuff on that coming up. Okay, if y'all want her on, message us on Instagram. A lot of responses, by the way, people. We apologize for not,
Do I get along with
everyone.
Holy Shit? Is that the one that I had a fight with?
No. You never met Holy Shit. You haven't met any of the new crew members.
No, you're right. Actually.
No, kidding.
That's
Everyone,
true.
Avery vetted them. Mamish did a full-on shidduch search. Okay. So I think this is the alternative route for what we said before, where, hurting people's relationships are. Do you actually have to be honest with your friends? And you know what? The answer is no. You do not have to be honest with your friends. You got to put on the business. It's just business, business face, business. Outfit. And just, political response answers. Oh, very good. I'll look into it.
So I had a hard time with that. I'm like a softie. I get guilted in.
I know.
I can't say no.
No, I also. There are moments when I
can't say no. Come on.
Beryl, our friend Beryl and Schmerl,
right.
Beryl and Schmerla, and then they're just so sweet. And they want the best for me. And I'm like, I don't know what to say,
And it's a certain person's wife.
Modernish guy, and this girl's like, she's living on a reserve in Eretz Yisrael.
Yep.
They might be right. Like it might make sense, 2 weeks in quarantine for one and done. But
True.
I've been there already.
So maybe we should give people advice. How about if your friend sets you up and you really don't see it going anywhere, just say you want to do a FaceTime with them, and then they'll get the picture.
Okay, so that's a great
That's
way.
a compromise.
Right.
It's
That's
a way of saying,
yes.
I'm not actually going to go out with them, but I'm saying yes.
Yeah,
So
the Zooms have
you make
saved us
everyone
in many
happy.
ways. Yeah, you got to, you can make,
Do people still do Zooms?
No, I don't do Zooms. I think they're ridiculous. Ridiculous. But like you said, I mean, they are very, very, they're perfect. They're quintessential
For back burners.
for that, like, all right, I give it a try and all that. Now, I will say I've done some Zooms, given situations. Girls have been away. They're out of town. They make, for whatever reasons. I like meeting people in person. That's the best thing. I am someone who needs to meet people in person. I'm sure well over half our audience, well over half the people that we, reach out to want, and even more like to meet people in person. But and I'll do that. I'll meet them in person, and then you busy with work, stuck at home, quarantining, lockdown, whatever. We could Zoom maybe on a second or third date.
Netflix and chill. Zoom.
Yeah, Netflix party, whatever they call it, group party. So, yeah, I don't think you have to really be honest with friends, because your honesty is a part of you that's sacred, and it's an aspect of yourself that you do not have to give away freely.
So better be honest with a friend.
And it's like we always advocate here is just tell them you're busy. Always a good response is like, oh, thanks for having me. I happen to be busy, but you could send the information. Things might free up. Things might, work out. And then on the honesty end also is like, let's say this girl isn't for you, and you're just like, wow, this let me take it from the guy's perspective, the girl's perspective. Let's say you're like, this guy is not for me. Just say, aside from being busy, you could say, oh, okay, it's interesting. Let me look into it and get back to you. And maybe you didn't look into it, and you don't have to. Looking into it is just looking over the resume. You don't have to. So obviously, we want everyone to be honest here, but at the end of the day, you have to protect yourself, and you don't owe your friend anything who's randomly setting you up out of nowhere.
What's the difference between that and a shotgun? Like, you can say the same thing to any shotgun.
Well, that's a very good question right there. We should add that to the difference between getting feedback from a shotgun is fishing you out for reasons why you're single. They're fishing you out in good ways or bad ways, in a malign way or in a very perspective, positively perspective way. They're fishing out. They're like, why is what is it with this person? And with a shotgun, it really pays to be 100% honest. Unless they're crazy, drop them. But just tell them. I had a great conversation with someone. Amazing. I really like this was my shotgun for that 4 to 6 month cycle at one point, and like I had a great phone call, went so well, and then this woman sent an idea that I just wasn't feeling. I saw a little bit of the background. I said, look at a great girl. I'm very happy that I'm very happy that you would send someone like this based off of a first conversation that we had. We never know each other,
right?
But it wasn't. I said honestly, she's just not my look. And that's it. I've done it. And I said the background works, and I like the school she went to, and I'm very open-minded in that aspect, but I was just very honest with her. Now a friend's not gonna respond like that. They're gonna go, see, this is why you're single. This is why you're not married. You need to be more open-minded. I'm like, who the hell are you? You just got to the desk.
Hi, it's Chani from the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast. Dating sites are a bit technical and so tedious to operate. Now there's an all-new way to get access to Shidduch resumes and meet that special somebody. The Shidduchim group on WhatsApp by Shotgun Shiffy has hundreds of guys and girls' resumes posted to it. Resumes are posted, and you can contact whoever posted that resume if you're interested in going out with that person. The group has dozens of matches made every week. To join the group, WhatsApp 443-333-7363 to join the Shidduchim WhatsApp group by Shotgun Shiffy.
Hey ladies, it's IJ. Yes, Purim is on its way, and what makes the perfect Purim gift this year? I'll tell you what, the all-new Jewish Men's Premium Lifestyle magazine. That's Macher's Magazine. For all you listening, pick up a subscription for your brother, father, or special someone, at machers.com and use promo code NTS15 for 15% off. This magazine is printed, sleek, beautifully crafted, and well designed, and it's delivered to your house at a small cost of just over $30 a year. What's in the magazine? Kiddish Club, fine wine, suits and style, Macher of the month, kosher craft beer, man eats food, barbecue, colognes, cars, men's health, fitness, watches, offices, and more. So go over to machers.com, use promo code NTS15, and buy that subscription for your favorite brother, your favorite father, or heck, even Avery or IJ or myself. All right, there you go. Yeah, so we have another caller. We're taking it on line 4. Caller, what's your name?
Hi, my name's Samantha.
Samantha.
Welcome
that's my
to the
sister's
program.
name. Welcome to the program. So we're actually talking about this episode, setting up friends. Is it good? Is it bad? Obviously, first raw thoughts, and then we have some questions, we throw at the audience.
Yeah, sure. I think it's really important to set up your friends and think for your friends because you know them better than most shadchanim would know them, in my personal opinion. The issue is that it's kind of hard to set up for your friends when you know them really well and you don't really know so many guys for them. I know in my experience, I try to set up my friends all the time, except I don't really have enough guys to set them up with. So that's always an issue.
Mm-hmm. So if you don't really know anyone for a friend, let's say, would you reach out? Like, would you offer to your friend, like, oh, Shandy, you're my good friend, and I love you, and we're going to bring you such nacha. So, anyone you want, I'll reach out to. Like, would you do that?
So I'd actually done that. I've messaged someone on Instagram because I knew my friend was interested.
Whoa.
It didn't go so well. That was a little, it didn't come out so well. I feel
that
like
is
sometimes
upfront.
it's too bold.
That is a little bold.
I've definitely reached
It's an
out
IJ
in
move.
different shidduch
It is an IJ move. It must run in the family. That's pretty interesting there. And let me ask you, why are so many? Is it best to be really honest with your friends? Because you might get some backlash there, where they're like, "Well, are you sure you need that? Are you sure?" And it might not be their place.
I think you have to know which friend it is. Sometimes I think girls in general will be very harsh on a boy, and they'll think that the guy says no, or they don't think that the person says no. They think that they're just busy, so they keep prompting you or someone else to set them up. I think sometimes in that case, it's good for the girl to hear, like, he said no, and if there's a reason, to explain the reason.
Mm-hmm.
But other times, if your friend's very sensitive, you should probably cushion it with, oh, he's just busy right now. He's not eating at the moment, stuff like that.
Right.
Okay, I love it. Okay. All right, awesome. So we thank you for calling. We have another caller. So thanks for calling, Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast. This is IJ and Avery on the Nobody Talks Shidduchim podcast. Who are we speaking with?
This is an old friend, Rabbi AY.
Rabbi AY. I am in your room.
AY. He's literally in your room, Rabbi AY.
Is it a good idea or a bad idea to set up friends? What do you think?
It's actually a really interesting question because I'm sitting here. The last time I called in, I was still single. Now, Baruch Hashem, I'm married to a wonderful woman. Thank God.
Oh, that's great to hear. Wow. All from our podcast, right? All from our podcast.
Yes, I would say that your podcast was the main impetus in pushing me to that next level.
You see that?
ABC, I told you we're making to the... Okay, Rabbi AY, go. Or so cool.
But it's an interesting thing because now that I'm, married and, there's such a, people just assume, oh, you're married and, so your wife knows girls and, guys. So, put them together.
Mm-hmm.
And, it doesn't, at least I found for us as a couple, it doesn't really work so much like that. We understand that people, we don't just want, because we were both dating for a while, we don't want to be the type that's just like, oh, I'm married now. Listen, this is a great girl. I don't know why you wouldn't go out with her. Trust me, it's my wife's friend. She's so good. Just give it one date. Because, listen, I'm 28. I spent so many years getting that, and I understand it. But at the same time, I don't feel right doing that to others. I know what it's like to be pushed and to be prodded. And, so I've suggested one or two things, but at least for the time being, I don't feel comfortable really pushing things.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, it could be that my perspective will change as time goes on. and I see, and I get introduced to more, let's say, of my wife's friends or things like that. But I certainly find it that it's not just something that all of a sudden I get married and boom, all of a sudden we're thinking of 20 couples a night.
I agree with you to an extent, but I also disagree. I think that there is an onus on people who are in relationships to actually look out for the fellow people who were in your position,
I totally hear that.
really
We're
search and look and go through it. And even if you think it's not necessarily a good idea, but at least you're telling your friends, like, oh, send me your resume, send me this. I really think it's an obligation almost to the person who's in a relationship. That's how I view it.
I totally agree with you. And actually, it's a beautiful thing you're bringing up. You're right. To quote somebody we all know and love, with great power comes great responsibility. So now, you're in a relationship and you're kind of introduced to, members of the opposite gender who are friends with your wife, or, your wife is introduced to members of the opposite gender who are your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, you're right. Like it is, I do view that, just like, listen, everything in this world that's a privilege is a responsibility as well. If a person has great wealth,
Mm-hmm.
that's an obligation. It's not just a nice thing to give tzedakah, it's an obligation. So too over here. If a person knows people, it's an obligation to make shidduchim. All I was saying is that we're not just taking random names and saying, listen, guy, girl,
right,
go out, and then we start bugging people. I'm more the type that, like, if I really think that something has potential, then I will pursue it. But I'm not just going to start throwing names out there just because I had that done to me, and I know what that's like. But I totally agree with you, Avery, that it's a responsibility. You're right.
Yeah.
People really need the help, and people are really struggling in the world of dating, and it's very, very important.
Well, Rabbi AY, thanks so much. Mazel tov on your simcha.
And thanks for calling Nobody Talks Shidduchim. You're here with Avery and IJ. Caller, what's your name?
We are the Blum Bros.
The Blum Brothers. Oh,
Brothers.
I heard of you guys. You are the
you guys in the
Wedding
Mighty
Crashers?
Ducks? That's a different characters.
Well, thanks, the guys. Thanks.
The Bash. That's the Bash Brothers. Sorry,
gentlemen. Thanks for calling the podcast. Real honor, by the way. And we're discussing friends and shidduchim, setting up friends and shidduchim. Okay, what do you have to say? I'm sure there's a plethora of juicy lashon hara you're ready to release onto NTS crew.
Friends or shidduchim? What you're asking?
Is it right? Is it wrong? Should we be setting people up? What do you think? Give us your take.
Honestly, I think that it's funny because we were just discussing this tonight, and we were saying like how we go to people for Shabbos, we go to meals and things, and like people are just not down to suggest other people to go out, and it's kind of a big problem. I think in the frummy, like in the more frum groups, it's like people are just like, I'm not sure if it's scared or just like not really thinking of the other person. Like there isn't just a lot of possible ideas forthcoming. Like I think in the more chilled oilum, there's just more suggestions, there's more opportunity, and people are more down to just like, oh, well, why don't you try this idea?
Mm-hmm.
More openness overall.
More openness overall.
Can you imagine in the firm community, like for somebody who did a show, they met the person in 15 minutes and they're like, it didn't work out, and they're going to send it to someone else? That doesn't happen. Come on.
That's true, Avery. But even in the like non-Hasidish world, like
Heimish
even
world.
like just like black hat,
Flatbush.
yeah, the yeshivish world, I just feel like it's very like the suggestions aren't forthcoming.
And I will tell you why. I will tell you, it's
Why?
because the girls and the guys are not actually dating. They can't set it. Their parents are dating. It's the parents who are going on the dates for them. It's not the girls and guys. The parents say yes. The parents decide if they go out. The parents decide if it works or it doesn't work. So that's a separate issue. But your parents shouldn't be dating.
So and one more, Bloom Brothers, as you like to be called. Let me ask you: Can you be honest with friends when they're setting you up? Can you tell them what you're really looking for? What do you have to say?
It's funny because we're just at the table now, and my friend showed me a picture of a girl, and like I'm very honest.
Yes, right?
If I'm not into the girl, I'm not going to go out. But like, I feel like some people you have to be careful. Like you can't always, tell them straight out. Like I don't think this is a physical fit for me, or I don't think this person's background or hashkafa is for me. Right. So it depends on the
how you word
how
it.
close you are with that person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally agree. Totally agree. We actually have another caller calling in.
Yeah.
So, Bloom Brothers, thanks for calling.
Yes,
we appreciate
it's been a real pleasure
for being listeners.
Podcast.
Yeah,
we appreciate
our
it.
favorite. Well,
you're live on the air with the Shidduch podcast. This is Avery, and this is IJ.
Yeah, you're here with Avery and IJ. Thank you for calling. So we're actually discussing setting up friends, and obviously the problems with it, the issues with it, and tell us a little bit more.
Who are we speaking with? First of all, what's your name?
You keep it anonymous.
Sorry, I would like to keep this anonymous. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
You're anonymous. Okay, so have you ever set up friends before?
No.
Has a friend ever set up you before?
Yeah, in the past.
And how did it go? Did you feel like it worked out? It was a positive experience?
Well, it didn't really work out, so.
That's a shame.
That's a shame.
IJ's available.
That's a shame. Why don't you think, like, would they set you up again?
Would they set me up again? I'm sure they will.
Well, sometimes, and that's what we're discussing in this episode, is that sometimes it's such a bad experience for one party that they might not, and you know what? They might not even give you that feedback. A shadchan at least might say, you know what? Like, it was tough working with you. Can you be a little bit more open-minded or something like that. But a friend might not do that.
Right. That's true.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for calling, NTS, and, we appreciate your listenership.
Yes, thank you. I enjoy listening to your show. I'm a good fan.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
What's your favorite episode?
This one right now, because I'm in it.
Oh, and your favorite character? your favorite podcaster?
Izzy?
Who?
You have a guy named Izzy?
Yeah, IJ, yes.
With an I?
Yes. No, that's me.
Yeah?
Yes. Awesome. Okay.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you for calling.
Good night. Thank you.
Hey, welcome to the Nobody Talks Shidduch podcast. You're here with IJ and Avery. Avery, say hi.
Hey, welcome.
Who we have the pleasure of speaking with tonight?
Hi, my name is Adina.
Adina, welcome.
Welcome to the show, Adina. How's it going?
I think it depends on the circles in the background, whether or not someone would be comfortable with it. I'm from an out-of-town community where I think it's more acceptable and more accepted than somewhere in town where it might get a little weird, especially because out of town there's a much stronger likelihood that you know the person,
right?
Depending on the community, even that you know their family. So even if it doesn't work out for you, you still know more about that person.
It must be difficult because people like your friend from, let's say, you met in camp or Israel or school just says like, oh, I have a great guy for you, but they're literally like hundreds of miles away. How do we work this out?
Not so much, actually. It's not really friends who are setting me up so much. More as because I live out of town, it's a smaller community, so more people know you, and you know more people who are around. So let's say the fact that I'm from Shidduchim, people who know me know that. People who know of me even know, and they know that the few other, 15 guys that they know who are here, they know whether or not that's something I'm interested in looking for because they know me better. It's not like I'm living in a big city where I don't necessarily know the person living one block over or even on my block.
Right.
Out of town, we know each other. So it's not, there's also more, I know more people who I can say who know the same person that I'm going out with that I could say, oh, I have someone else in mind. Or what about this girl? There's more likelihood that someone else can set that shit up or look into it. Let's say, as a 20-year-old, I can't just necessarily always, the guy might not be comfortable with it, I might not be comfortable with it, my friend might not be comfortable with it coming from me. But in an out-of-town community where I know someone else who knows the guy or this other girl, they can, take the next step even when I can't in an appropriate manner.
Thank you very much.
Out-of-town dating must be a challenge, and we'll get into another episode. If you want to call back on that episode about out-of-town dating and the struggles for them.
Yes. We're taking the Shidduch podcast on the road throughout the United States.
Yeah, we're going to be traveling through Skokie, Baltimore,
L.A., Florida,
Wisconsin,
Minneapolis.
Flyover country.
Yeah, the Wits guys over there. Okay, thank you so much. Who's your favorite?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
sure.
Yes.
Wait, I just have one question. When you started naming places, you named cities, but then you said Florida as a state and not as in Miami.
Florida's chashiv. Florida's a chashiv place.
Florida's basically the new capital of the country.
Yeah,
of the U.S.
I think Goldman Sachs thinks
Why
so.
does Florida get a state and not a city? And it's not like, oh, Miami or Jacksonville.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It really
It's
should
like,
be
oh, wow.
Mar-a-Lago is the central.
Well, we enjoyed. You want to give a location? Where are you? You said you're out of town.
I am in Miami, actually.
Oh, hey, we were on target.
I was just there a couple weeks ago on vacation.
Yeah, and I was with him.
Yeah.
Everybody's there on vacation.
Oh, the
Everybody's
Jews
there
are
on vacation.
are making themselves known. I know.
They think it's the mountains. They think it's open just,
It's really annoying,
just
isn't
for the
it?
winter.
Yeah,
bet.
do people like go on dates there now?
You can't get how could you get into? You can't even get into Fuego. How are you gonna get a date? Like where are you going?
Well, I'm saying most people here actually, like when I've never gone out to a hotel lobby or a restaurant on a date. There are so many places to go on a date. Like, why limit yourself to a hotel or restaurant? And even now, no one's there. Like, if I would go on a date tonight, no one who I know would see me because it's all tourists.
Right.
Also, it's because I'm from out of town. The people I'm dating mostly are from out of town, and they're also more like, we'll go axe throwing on a date, not for a walk.
Right. Yeah, they're a little bit more
Adventurous.
blue collar.
There's a
let's
drop
call
because
it.
there's less of a box, a little bit less of a box that you
Yeah.
have to fit into, so there's a different
Yeah.
expectation.
Yes, and that's how I got Avery to Florida. I put him in a box. I love this guy, Adina. Right? You said, do we come off?
Yeah.
We come off as a happy family over here.
Well, I'll tell you, I never actually listened to any of your things.
All right. Well, start
Recommend
listening. Episodes 1 through
Came up after
39.
39.
I was like, oh, why?
Yeah, on your flights to wherever, you'll have a lot to listen to.
Yes. Well, enjoy
Let's comment
Florida
on it.
and Hatzlacha on your shidduch journey.
Regards to the Trumps.
Regards to everyone in Florida, and tell my neighbors to stay there and don't come back because I hate them. All right,
We
very
probably hate them more. Nice to talk to you. Take care.
bye. Okay, and as promised, now for our lightning round. Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't promise it, but there you go. Because last episode I did, and we didn't deliver. Actually, someone else did, and we won't mention their name. That person's pronouns being him, hers, theirs, and everyone's. Okay, so Avery, lightning round for us, and then we get into our closing. Let's see here. Okay. So, what do you do? We're going to do quickly, okay? So, you'll go, then I'll go. So, what do you say if you know this friend is trouble or you can't deal with them when they set you up?
It's just IJ.
You're unbelievable.
I'm just kidding.
Let me think here. I don't know. I'm just going to ask questions there.
Do you advocate? No, I don't advocate.
Do you, right? Okay.
I'm not pleading here.
Fine. So no pleading. Okay, good. Next question. So what if your friend asks you to set them up with someone else you may know? And the person who is asking to be set up is either not a good person or you don't want to set them up or feel comfortable doing it.
Outsource it, in my opinion.
Oh, I like
Outsource
that.
it.
You're quick. Okay, outsource. Your friend wants to set you your friend wants, this gets tricky with it because everyone follow around. Your friend wants you to set them up and you actually want the girl for yourself. Oh, I love this one.
What do you say? I want to hear what you say about that.
I say, I'll look into it. Thank you. Okay. And then I don't know, an hour later, I'll be like, oh, hey, I just spoke to a friend who's, wife's good friend of hers, and she's busy. And then I go out with her.
I would try and...
I'm taking a wife. Okay.
I would try and figure out some way to set it up for failure so that he looks bad and it makes me look good and then it works out.
Ooh, you're on fire today.
If that
what
was
do you
me.
the vitamins? That you took one of my vitamins. Okay, so what if they say something bad about your friend upon the feedback?
I might agree with them. Just because he's my friend doesn't mean that he's like my parent or my
That
child.
they're Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
They're just holier than thou. Okay, true. Do you tell your friend the honest truth of what actually happened, or do you play it cool and chill?
Depends how bad something they did
Or
was.
good, maybe.
If it could help them in the future, yeah. If it's about them being a snide, sarcastic, horrible person, then there's really not much help that you can do. But if it's something that they can fix, how they opened the door, how they acted, how they reacted, then you tell them.
Okay, I like that. And this is a good one here. We're going to call it the Shana Rishona Shidduchim Scavenger. When the couple first gets married and they're like, oh my God, we're going to set up all our friends and get them all married. Avery, hi, it's us. What is your immediate reaction if you put them on mute?
I'd rather get set up by the Mansons.
Oh, gosh. All right. That was our lightning round for this evening. And, everyone, you can submit your lightning round questions at Nobody Should Talk Shidduchim Podcast or email us at nobodytalkspodcast@aol.com. Another spectacular, stupendous lightning round. Avery, any messages to
just set up your friends. Look out for your fellow Jew. And maybe non-Jew. Well, don't worry about the non-Jews. But worry about your fellow Jew, your fellow person who's struggling. If you're married, if you're not married, you get an idea, send it out to someone else. Think about somebody aside from yourself. Don't be selfish. We're all in it together. Except for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't know what she was in it for. But everybody else, we're all in it together. So think about your fellow Jew.
We're all in it. We're all in it together, Avery. You know that? We're all in it together, my friend. High School Musical. How do we fast forward?
Do you want me to vomit now or on your bed?
Kolisha?
You have to just tune it out.
Oh, here, Rigga. Together. Okay, we should rename it so we're all in this together. Nobody Talks Shidduchim Podcast. Episode 40, the big 4-0. Mazal Tov. We made it to 40. The podcast a few episodes ago we mentioned was legal to drink when you left, and now they're legal for a divorce. Nobody Talks Shidduchim Podcast. Smiley face, happy face, silly face.
Sayonara.
Sayonara, folks.
Ouchies Media Network.